Namaskar, warm greetings from Delnet Developing Library Network, New Delhi, India. The most distinguished speaker, Professor Naveen Kumar, Senior Professor, Department of Computer Science, University of Delhi, Delhi, India. Shrikesh Kumar, President Delnet, Dr. S.S. Murthy, Vice President, Dr. P.R. Goswami, Treasurer Delnet, the heads of institutions, deans, eminent librarians, library and information science professionals, heads of departments, IT, computer science professionals, IQAC heads, faculty, researchers, scholars, students, my colleagues here at Delnet New Delhi, and also its coordination units at Bangalore and Pune, ladies and gentlemen. I, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, Director Delnet, on behalf of Delnet, takes profound privilege and honor in welcoming you all to today's important webinar session on Truth in AI Systems, which will shortly be delivered by our most esteemed speaker, Professor Naveen Kumarji. The webinar is being organized by Delnet, Developing Library Network, New Delhi, a major resource sharing library network in India, connecting more than 9,300 institutions across India and many other countries. And sharing and spreading knowledge remains its very prime mission, for which it is working relentlessly for past nearly 33 years now. We are much thankful and appreciative of the overwhelming response received for today's webinar session, which really speaks volumes about the interest the webinar topic has garnered, as more than 2,600 registrations have been received from professionals of diverse domains. We extend a very warm welcome to each one of you for joining us today from different parts of India and many other countries, including Bangladesh, Bhutan, Ghana, Hong Kong, Indonesia, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, and UAE. At the very outset, on behalf of Delnet, we would like to express our very warm, sincere gratitude and thanks to our most esteemed distinguished speaker, Professor Naveen Kumarji, for acceding to our request to deliver the invited talk and for agreeing to share his vast expertise and knowledge. We remain ever grateful to you, Professor Naveen Kumarji, for your stupendous support in making it possible for us to organize this program on a topic which holds a great relevance for all of us. We are extremely honored with your presence here today. We are in the midst of an era of AI. The contours of the real world are being merged into the digital world, driven by AI tools and technologies. AI is considered as one of the most important technological advances of decades, and there are growing debates now whether AI is also one of the most influential inventions ever. As we assess the impact and penetration of AI in every sphere of our life, the era wherein we are witnessing the growing usage of AI, one of the most unaddressed aspects remains about the genuineness and authenticity of the AI systems. We need to really discover how truthful is this AI. The focus of today's enlightening deliberations is centered around the truth in AI systems. We are extremely fortunate and feeling so very proud and happy to have with us today Professor Naveen Kumarji, the most seasoned academician and technologist who has made profound contributions in the world of computing, who will unearth the truth in the AI systems. I feel extremely honored to introduce our esteemed speaker, Professor Naveen Kumarji, who is a senior professor at the Department of Computer Science at one of the most renowned university in the country, that is University of Delhi, Delhi, India. He holds a PhD in computer science from IIT Delhi. Before having his doctoral studies, Professor Kumar earned his MTech computer science and MSc mathematics from IIT Delhi and an honors degree in mathematics from the University of Delhi. Professor Kumar has taught undergraduate and postgraduate students various courses, and you will be really amazed to know that he has to his credit more than 40 years of teaching experience, which really again is something so very remarkable about our distinguished speaker. He has also co-authored a book entitled Python Programming, a Modular Approach, published by the Pearson Education. He has supervised many PhD students in soft computing and social networks. His current areas of interest includes explainable AI, machine learning, and deep learning. Professor Kumar has also contributed several articles in national and international journals and conferences. Professor Kumar has been a member of the curriculum design committees of various universities and also of CBSE. He has been an organizing chair and a program committee member of several workshops, conferences, and symposia being held in India in many other countries. I have a profound privilege and honor in requesting Professor Naveen Kumar ji now to kindly address the participants. It's over to you, Professor Kumar. Thank you so very much indeed once again, and it's indeed such a profound pleasure for us to have you today. Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. Over to you.
Namaskar, and thank you so much for such a nice introduction. A very good afternoon to everyone. So today we have gathered to discuss the truth in the AI systems. So we will talk about the AI. AI is omnipresent, we know. A very quick flashback into history, then the motivation for the truth, the need to explain what AI does, and how the systems are made to be really explainable so that we know what they are doing, why they are doing, and different methods. Some of the methods are specific to the models, others are more general. And then see some kind of explanations and how they can be used to justify the AI actions, to modify the AI actions, and what are the limitations of these models, and where is the future. Very quickly, so we see a picture over here, and there's two more pictures over here. What is common between these three pictures is that these three pictures are taken from some 2500-year-old period, and what we see here is that there is a human being like structure painting on the this is some, and these are coins actually. So what we see is something like human, but not exactly humans. Surely they are not humans. That means the notion of artificial humans, or something like what we call today robots, that fascinated the minds of the people even as early as 2500 years ago. Now, moving fast forward, computers came around the year 1943, and around the same time, the earliest AI systems, what we know as the neuron or neural network based systems, also started coming up. 1943, Mukolov proposed the model for neurons in the brain, and subsequently came Adeline, Madeline, adaptive linear element, multi-adaptive linear element, and 1975, this backpropagation algorithm came from verbose, which is the basis of backpropagation algorithm is the basis of most of our AI work today. And in between 1982, the notion of self-organizing maps and came, but there was no significant progress along any of these directions for two reasons. First was the hardware. We did not have fast enough hardware. We did not have large enough memories. And the second was software. We did not have the efficient software algorithms. Probably software algorithms were not developed during those days because the technologies did not support the more modern thinking. So the story began again with Hinton and colleagues coming up with learning representations and backpropagation algorithm by fast, efficient backpropagation algorithm. And it was the time when GPUs started coming up. Parallel computing started, then software concepts were developed, CNNs, sequential network, and transformers that we all hear about. And last 2-3 years, we are all hearing about ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, Microsoft Copilot, Llama, Perplexity AI, and so on. Now, in computer science, I think those who are from computer science background would at least know that there's no Nobel Prize in computer science, and others may also be aware. So ACM Turing Award is considered to be the Nobel Prize of computer science. And most of these awards have most of the time gone to the theory people, but the computer science community recognized the importance of artificial intelligence in 2018 when they could not ignore it anymore. And three AI scientists, Geoffrey Hinton from the University of Toronto, Joshua Bengio from the University of Montreal, and Ian Lucan from the Courant Institute of Mathematical Sciences. So the ACM was made to recognize their pioneering work. And although computer science does not have a Nobel Prize, but the Swedish Nobel Committee also could not ignore the ignorance of, could not continue to ignore AI for long. And last year, we had the first prizes in AI, although they were awarded in physics, because computer science is not listed over there, and it could not have been listed because computer science didn't exist when the Nobel Prizes were started. So John Hopfield, introducer of the Hopfield networks, and Geoffrey Hinton, who gave the fast, efficient, this algorithm, backpropagation algorithm, which really started the AI in the form that exists today. Now, AI is omnipresent. AI is so powerful. And then what is the big issue about AI? So what is that is bothering our minds? I think I'll give a couple of examples which will make the scenario clear. So father and child were talking, and the child wanted to know what is a sport car, and father was trying to explain what is a sport car, but the child would not understand it. And then so father was also a bit frustrated, and they said, okay, let me show you some cars. So they went to a motorway bridge. So whenever father sees a sports car and he speaks out, that's a sports car. So after 10 minutes, father asks, son, do you understand what is a sports car? And of course, son has understood what is a sports car. And few minutes later, a red Hyundai i30 sedan passes by, and son shouts, that's a sports car, dad. Father was dejected because he thought he has been able to explain theory at home, he has been able to explain the practical, and but the child has not understood anything. What's gone wrong here? I picked up this example from the Andrews PhD thesis at Harvard, right for the right reasons. Training neural networks to be interpretable, robust, consistent with expert knowledge. Now, what has gone wrong here? What has gone wrong here is the color of the car. What happened is that most of the cars that passed by, for the sports car, they were red in color. So the child learned that if the color of the car is red, it must be a sports car. Although it is painful enough for father, yet he was very lucky in this case, because he could at least know that the child has not understood what he wanted to teach. What would have happened if a sports car had passed by, which was really red in color? there will be no way, then father would be thinking child is understood and child is really not understood. So that is why the need is to be right for the right reason. Being just right will not suffice. One needs to be right for the right reason, so that we know that we are sure that the next time we need to bank upon AI is not going to deceive us. Okay. Another example, Army decided to train an artificial neural network, and the objective was to train the network in such a manner it could distinguish between the uh, trees or general wood or some tanks which are hiding in the woods. So they took several pictures of woods without tanks and of the same woods with tanks sticking out from the behind the trees. They trained an artificial neural network, and Army was impressed by the results. Army also gave their own some test samples, and they also very good results. So, but Army is never satisfied. So they said, before we induct your software, we would like to experiment on several days, intermittently with some breaks. So next time, they called the researchers, take some pictures of the same woods. And they were shocked and depressed. ANN totally failed to discriminate between the pictures of trees with partially concealed tanks behind them and just the plain trees. Why did it happen? They started discovering, understanding. Finally, the mystery was resolved. The training pictures of the woods which they had taken without tanks, they were taken on cloudy day. And the pictures of the woods with tanks were taken on a sunny day because the work was too much. So they divided the work, in two parts. And it makes sense, that first you take the pictures of woods with tanks and without tanks. You don't want to keep on moving with tank, without tank, because that takes a lot of effort. And so what did the network learn? Since it was a sunny day when the tanks were shown, so sunny day means there will be a lot of shadow. So AI model learned that if there is a shadow, it means there is a tank. If there is no shadow, means there is no tank. So these are two stories. And let me give you one final example. This is a real life example. An AI model learned that asthma leads to lower mortality risks for pneumonia patients, which is so absurd that you won't feel like listening any further. If there are two pneumonia patients, one of them is also suffering from asthma, it cannot happen that the person who is suffering from asthma has a lower mortality risk. But that is exactly what an AI model predicted. How did it happen? This is very interesting. When the patients for pneumonia who had also a history of the asthma, they reported to the hospital, they were already in a very bad shape. And since they were already in a bad condition, they were immediately moved to ICU. When they were moved to ICU, ICU gives you an aggressive care and which lowered the risk of dying from pneumonia. In contrast, the patients who did not have asthma, they were admitted to a normal ward. Maybe the ward had 8 patients. Maybe they were getting more infected from different other patients of the ward, and they were moved to the ICU only when they become too serious, or some people might have died in the ward itself. So it was not the added advantage. There was no added advantage in having asthma. So it was just the prognosis improved for pneumonia patient with a history of asthma because of the aggressive care. Indeed, the conclusion asthma lowers mortality risk is not correct. So now, again, in this example, we were very lucky because one of the features that was input to the AI model was, does the patient have asthma? Yes or no? Therefore, the doctors who were attending, they could immediately see the absurdity of the model and they immediately rejected the model. Now, just imagine if this conclusion that patient has asthma was not provided in the Boolean form. Instead, the users like doctors or medical professionals, they were giving some other clinical history, like their heart rate and some other features, which in effect mean that the patient is asthmatic or like asthmatic. So then they would not have come to know, they would not have been able to realize this absurdity of the model. And if they had put this model into practice, it would have really meant a havoc. All right. So reasoning is important for everybody. Knowing truth is important for me, for you, for everyone, for the industry. This is a picture that appeared on my Facebook app some time back when the Prime Minister had visited Vietnam. More recently, there was another picture. 70% of Indians consider PM Modi to be the most capable leader to counter terrorism. And when it comes to national security, Indians trust only one man, PM Modi. Fine. Now, when you click here, but you want to know why the Facebook is showing this picture to you. When you click on three dots, it asks whether you want to save the post, etc., etc., and say the why I'm seeing this post. Maybe you like Narendra Modi and manage what you see. Say, oh, since you are following Narendra Modi, so you are more likely to see these pictures like this. If you don't want, you just click here and unfollow. Change your preferences. And then they are also concerned that whether the information they are providing is useful. If not, they would like to modify what they can. Because if Facebook shows me what I don't want to see, I'm going to turn off from the Facebook and Facebook is going to lose the revenue. So what to explain? What is the truth? Historically, the machine learning models have been like this, as shown above. There is an AI model, and it is giving certain predictions or decisions or recommendations, whatever you say. And you don't know that why the model is giving these predictions and whether I should trust this model. So this was the situation in 2015. Things have changed over a decade. And now we have what is known as explainable AI. So where we again have the same input, same machine learning models, and then we have the explainable AI methods. So which tell us that why the model is giving a certain recommendation or a decision. And even if I can't trust the model, can I figure out when can I trust the model? So see this picture, this is showing a scenario in 2016. So this was demonstrated by Rivero and colleagues. So what this picture is showing is a classifier which distinguishes between a wolf and a husky. So it predicts wolf as a wolf, husky as a husky, wolf as a wolf, again wolf as a wolf, husky as a husky, wolf as a husky. Sorry, husky as a wolf. Truly it was husky, but it was predicted as wolf. Now, this is 5 out of 6 seems to be a pretty good accuracy, and in fact, it could be even higher when you see the larger numbers. Now, the question is, should we trust this model or not? Before we decide what this, now, Ribeiro suggested that we should know what is that the model is seeing. So he tried to look at what is that the model is looking at. And he noted that in this model, the model was really not looking at the face of the wolf. It was really looking at the surrounding. And similarly here, see, it is hardly looking at the face of the wolf. Face of the wolf should be the primary thing to distinguish between a wolf and a husky. But that's not what the model is doing. So what the model is looking is around surrounding. And what the model has learned is that if there is a snow around, it should be a wolf. And if there is no snow around, it is a husky. Therefore, when a husky appeared in a snowy background, it predicted it as wolf. And today AI is being used in several applications to sanction loans and even for making decisions like bail or no bail. Like in several European countries, it is a mandatory requirement to tell that if a bank is denying a loan, that why the loan is being denied. Because this will impact the reputation of the person if a person is refused the loan. And it also impacts the bank, because bank is not in the business of rejecting the loan application. The bank is in the business of making money. And if they are not able to make money, then they are not to be there. Now, so an advocate and a judge also has to tell that what is the basis of the judgment. So a lot of machine learning, a lot of natural language processing is being used in making decisions. And we'll come back to this example. Because why I've shown this example is because of a AI model which was really injected into the American legal system, and where the model was asked the question, bail or no bail. So the model responded that in most of the cases where the accused were African Americans, right, it recommended jail, and for the white Americans, it recommended bail, even though they had similar criminal history. So the model had biases, and how they learned biases, and that's another question in the AI system, that how to remove biases. This is an example from health system. What it is doing is that for male, gender is male, it is saying if it's cold, true, and this is a very simple example, but it just illustrates a point. If cold is true and cough is true, then the person is sick. In case of female, it says that if ID number is greater than 200, then the patient is sick, which is so absurd again. But that is a real rule that a model learned. Why did it happen that way? Because perhaps the women were busy with the household duties and they went late, and the model learned that if a patient is coming late and then and is a female, then probably the patient is sick. So it is important to understand the AI systems because the wrong decisions can be very costly, and model understanding is critical in several domains because it provides recourse to the affected individuals. It facilitates debugging, as we saw in the Husky versus Wolf example. It enables the bias detection like ethnicity, bail or detain, and assess the trustworthiness like patient ID. Patient ID cannot mean anything about the diagnosis. Realizing the importance, the US Department of Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, DARPA, launched an XAI initiative, and we have already seen similar pictures. So to discover that why a model is giving a particular decision, and so that we can understand the operations of the model, so that we can use those models carefully. And use those models carefully means a model need not be usable all the time. So we just want to know that when this model is reliable, and use under those circumstances. Don't use when the model is not reliable. I think we'll skip this. Now, as the AI systems are so much important, and the notion of truth in the AI system is gathering more and more important. Explaining the AI actions is becoming more and more important. So there are a number of courses that have been launched online. Like Duke University has launched a course on Coursera, Explainable AI Specialization, Responsible AI in Practice by Google Slides and Video Short Course, AI Ethics and XAI in Healthcare by Nanoschool, Responsible AI, Microsoft Learn, Elements of AI, University of Helsinki, Data Ethics, AI and Responsibility of Innovation from the edX, on the edX platform from the University of Edinburgh. As you see here, a number of conferences, workshops. So these are some of the international events we are running into May. And so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 international events already taken place, and more are scheduled in June, and so on. So these events have been taking place for last 3-4 years, as you can see their importance. So how should these models that explain truthfulness look like? These models should be simple to understand by themselves. They should honor the target audience, because machine learning experts can probably understand a small Bayesian network, but a layman will not understand that. A layman just needs, okay, to explain in terms of the input features that are there. Can you tell me, if you go to a doctor, can you tell me that why the doctor is saying there is a hairline fractured? So doctor can show, look, here you see something wavering here. So there is a hairline fracture. So if the machine learning model can also pinpoint, it can also just zoom up that portion and show me that. So that would be great. So this is an example of user-friendly explanation. So this was a message that appeared. Experts in China found that coronavirus can be spread through houseflies, which is obviously fake. So when this message was given to an AI model, it correctly found out that with 97% confidence, this is a fake statement. Why it is fake statement? Because it is seeing the words like China, coronavirus, houseflies. Model knows that houseflies don't spread coronavirus. So something like that must be spurious. All right. So here the model is predicting that a patient is having diabetes with 99% confidence. Why this model is predicting diabetes? So it is looking at these features. See, these pictures which are in orange, they are pointing to the diabetic, and the pictures, features which are in blue, they are relating to the non-diabetic condition. So the age of the person is only 22 years, which is pointing to non-diabetic. Blood pressure is 76, which is okay, which is pointing to non-diabetic. But since the glucose level is greater than 141, since the BMI is more than 36, since the diabetes pedigree function is not well, and since insulin level is low and skin thickness is high, so therefore the model tells you that this patient is diabetic. Now, given this explanation, I'm sure you can trust the model that whatever the model is saying, the model must be speaking the truth. All right. Now, when we give a certain explanation, we give a certain justification. Now, in order to be convincible, it is necessary that these explanations or justifications do not change drastically if the input features change only a little bit. Let's see another example. So just have a look at this feature: 199, 42, 22, 1.3, 76, 0, 43, and 1. 190 against 199, 40.9 against 42, and so on. So you see this just on the right hand side, you find nearly the same explanation here. So you find the same explanation for the similar features, and the model is giving the similar rating. It is not that now it is predicting diabetic with 70% confidence and non-diabetic with 30% confidence. So the model is consistent. Since the model is consistent, since the explanations are consistent, we can trust this model. So that was explaining the individual stuff. We can also make assessment about globally, about what it is doing as a whole. Let's see this. So what this is telling is that this red color is high, that the higher values of glucose point to diabetes, higher values of BMI point to diabetes, and lower blood pressure. This blood pressure value, this also points to diabetes. And here again we see the red color. So pregnancies also point to diabetes. Right. So what is pointing to diabetes here? In this particular example, all these features and their certain ranges we get to know in general. Unfortunately, the simple models are good so far as the explanations are concerned, but as we go higher and higher and higher up to the neural networks, and that's where most of the AI sits. So these models become highly uninterpretable, and therefore we need tools like the one which I have shown over here. So I think we'll skip more details of the diabetes, except that I'll quickly show you that this is a model which is showing that since the glucose level is higher and BMI is also higher, and glucose level is not just higher than 127, it's very, very high, greater than 157. So this patient is predicted as diabetic. So if you see a tree like this, it is easy to understand, and that enables you to make convincing decisions. Since it also has several other branches, so you can make a general impression about what this model is doing. Okay, I think in the interest of time, we will skip these details. Just one second.
Please. We request you all, kindly do stay tuned in. Professor Kumar would just be back. Would appreciate your being there online with us.
Hello.
Yeah, Professor Kumar, we are there. Yes, please, kindly.
Yeah, I'm sorry for
Kindly
the
take your time.
interruption.
No, Professor Kumar is perfectly all right. Yeah, no issues. Please, kindly.
Yeah. Okay. So I think in the interest of time, we'll skip the finer details of the model. And I think we have already discussed this. All right. There's a story in India about Vikram and Betal. Some of you might have heard the stories of Vikram and Betal. And one of the stories goes like this, that there was a king, and very nice king who ruled very peacefully, and subjects were all very happy. And suddenly they became unhappy because a monster came there, and what this monster would do, the monster would pick away someone and go to an oasis and eat away the person in his cave. And they were very much disturbed. The king announced that anyone who kills that monster, I would give him the half of my kingdom, and also I would marry my daughter. Then several people tried, they could not be successful. And then there was a very brave person, and he thought that I must do something. So what he did was he caught hold of two people. One, the best boat expert who would make a boat that would not drown. And second, the best sword maker. So he went to many sword makers and he found the best sword maker. And he asked to make a sword, and he also asked for a very nice boat, and the boatman took him there, and he indulged in a very fierce fighting, and finally he was able to kill. So when he killed and came merrily back, and then all the three went to the king's court, and then to the king they say that now you tell us what to do. And everyone will claim that he must get wedded to the daughter, because without him the result could not have been possible. Then, having told the story, then Betal asked the Vikramaditya, now you give me the solution. And Vikramaditya said, look, the solution is very simple. The daughter must go
Professor Kumar, we are not able to hear you. Professor Kumar, this is to inform that we are not able to hear you. I believe you're experiencing some net issue right now. Requesting everyone, just please kindly stay tuned in. We strongly feel that Professor Kumar has got a net issue right now. This is to request you, Professor Kumar, could you kindly try to either reconnect, because it seems that the net connection, there's no net connection right now. Requesting everyone, please do kindly stay connected. This is how these are, certain things which remains unexpected, and we all know we are into an era of technology, and this is sometimes, when you need it the most, it has a tendency to give up. So do please kindly just bear with us, and we can see that, Professor Kumar, could you please log in, because we can see the desktop.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Are we good?
I
Or
yes.
is the screen
No,
there?
we are there. Yeah, we are there. Yeah, you need to open the presentation file. You need to open the presentation file from where you can open the presentation file. We are connected. We're able to see your screen right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can open the presentation file. Yes, please kindly. Yes. I believe in the other window, it's already being there where you left.
Yeah, that's already there. Fine. It's already
Please.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Please kindly.
Fine.
Kindly.
So
Thanks.
I hope I was able to complete the story that Vikramaditya said.
Yes, we can hear you well. We can see you also, Professor Kumar, and we can hear you well also.
Yeah,
Please.
I'm so sorry for the interruption. Vikramaditya said that the daughter has to go to the brave person who finally killed, because without him, nothing would have happened, even if others had done the work. We have a similar question here, actually, that there are a lot of features, a lot of inputs, and the users need to know when there is an image, what is the part segment of the image that is contributing to my disease? If it is predicting cancer, why it is saying cancer? If it is saying a fracture, why it is saying a fracture? Right? If it is some other disease, so why that particular disease? What are the features that are responsible for this, so that one can really decide whether to trust this model or not to trust this model? So it was Lloyd Shapley in 1953 who was given a Nobel Prize for developing a theory, economic theory for distributing the rewards. But it was as late as 2017 that the computer scientists started using it in the form of SHAP values. So the four people together, they work, and the company gets a reward of 10,000 rupees on that. Now, if this person in green color is dropped out, the reward becomes 7,000. So the question is, what is the contribution of the person in green? So is it 3,000? Perhaps yes, perhaps not, because maybe if we had moved out someone else, contribution might have been something else. So we need to be more rigorous that, okay, if the person in green works alone, what is the contribution? If the person in green works with the person in blue, what is the total reward? If person in green works with person in red, what is the total reward? And if all three of them work together, then what is the reward? And when, right? So we consider the different scenarios and then take the average. So that gives us some reasonable indication of what could have been the contribution. Now, this is a very simple example, but in general, when the number of features goes high, then to understand how much importance to give to a particular feature, to a particular aspect, that is a difficult question, because then you have a large number, very, very large number, and you can consider only one feature, you can consider 5 features, you can consider 10 features, and you can consider which 10 features. So that's a huge work, exponential. And surely, even with such fast computing machines, we cannot do so much of exponential work. So we do some sampling, and that's what this theory tells us, and comes out with the final answers. And so this is the one which I had shown earlier also, about the which features are responsible. It is correctly predicted. We also did, by the way, some work on Shapley values, and for detecting the cancer, we have, some 20,000 odd genes, and we found few genes which were responsible for different classes of cancer. This is shown for class 4. You can see this gene CLORF 192 is at the top. So if we see this gene CLORF 192, and if you see the class 4, you can see that the width is the maximum here. So that means this is the most significant gene for this purpose. So we are able to explain, and so that people can trust us more. See, figuring few genes out of 20,000 genes is no mean achievement after all. Similarly, when you see an image, as we said, can we say that this is a cat because it is looking at the eye? So it is shown that what this model is looking at, when you see the model is really looking at the eyes, so you can assume that this classification into a cat should be reasonable. All right. Back to the diabetic example. So given that a patient is suffering from disease, the question is what to do. And one would like to know that, can I do something so that I don't have a disease? Or if my loan application is rejected, can I do something so that I can get a loan? So this is a kind of solution that the machine produced. If the age is 37 and gender is female, body mass index is 38, there is no diabetes. So in response to what to do, it predicted that, okay, if your age is 59, your gender is male, and body mass index is 20, you would not have diabetes. This is all absurd. You can't change your age, you can't change your gender. So the AI engineers have worked, a lot of work has since gone, and what is done is that we allow only minor changes to be made, and minor changes also within the reasonable range. We will not allow gender to be changed, we will not allow age to be changed, we will only allow some features to be changed. Then it says, okay, if you change your body mass index from 38 to 32, you still have diabetes. Okay, then if I change to 32, will it work? No. 29, yeah. Now I know what to do. I have to change my body mass index from 38 to 29 if I want to get rid of this diabetes, other things being the same. So there are limitations on these, and I think I'll skip these slides in the interest of time, but this is an important thing which I'd like to show from the computer science point of view, and those who are from the AI or data science, it might interest them. So when COVID-19 was there were some 2,500 papers that were written on AI-based papers, so-called AI-based paper, and so that they can be used by the medical community. Unfortunately, none of those was clinically deployable. Why? So out of some 2,212 papers, 62 were duplicates removed, and some 1,700 papers had irrelevant titles or abstract or not depth enough. There are 415 serious papers, but on looking at the full length review, they had to reject 95 papers. Some of them, 5 were not in English. Some of them were not specifically for COVID-19. And some of them did not propose any new or model, and they were just duplicating some model which was already there. Now, most important, in the medical domain, no model is acceptable unless it adheres to claim guidelines or ARQUIS guidelines for the data collection. 258 of the 320 papers failed. We were left with 62 papers, 37 deep learning, 23 traditional machine learning, and 2 of the hybrid papers. Now, they were having several issues, like some of them had very small data set. There was no variability in the data repository, poor integration of the data from multiple sources. They are claiming that we have taken the data from independent sources, but those sources are saying that we have taken the data from a common source. So, given issues like this, none of these models was deployable. And most of these models did not even have a proper review from a clinical expert. So, and some of them had only from a clinical expert, but no data science expert. So even very few papers had reviewers, which included the data science, machine learning, AI, and the medical experts. Now, AI is omnipresent. AI is all powerful. AI has been very, very useful. And we have also learned to explain our actions over a period of 1 decade now. So what is wrong with AI still? AI has played many, many havocs. I'll just go through some of them, and I think I can take about 5 minutes. We all have heard about the Rohingya issues in Myanmar. And so what caused that Rohingya crisis? It was certain algorithms of the Facebook. What happened was that some Buddhist monks posted some hate messages against the Rohingyas. And the Facebook algorithms learned, as a subsequent inquiry revealed, that Facebook was a useful instrument for vilifying the Rohingya. What it did was that the Facebook algorithms learned that hate messages have much greater potential to propagate, to share. And since it is a business-driven company, their business depends on sharing. So they very, very quickly posted and reposted and re-reposted these messages on the people's wall, and those who saw those messages, they further posted them, and there was a lot of hatred, a lot of violence, and we know the story. Subsequently, there was an Amnesty International report, and the role of Meta was established, and finally the Facebook had to tender an apology, and they admitted that it wasn't doing enough to prevent its platform from being used to incite division and offline violence. Compass is a correctional offender management profiling software. So this was deployed by the US criminal justice system. And what it learned was that children from the African American background, they are more serious offender, although their criminal history wasn't different, because it so happened that most of the input data which they had collected, that included a significant number of the African Americans. So the model was over biased to label them as potential serious criminals. And they discovered that it was twice as likely to incorrectly label black defenders as higher risk compared to the white defenders. YouTube recommender system had similar problem. In China, there are reports of a social scoring system which is not yet fully functional, but if it does become fully functional, then it's collecting all data on all aspects of privacy of the Chinese people, and it will it could define in future whether they get money, what kind of education, what kind of housing, and AI managed weapon control. Today, you know that most of the weapons are being controlled by AI, and because we cannot afford to wait for an enemy and aircraft to come and manually take an action. All AI driven, that automatic firing guns are there, and if this automatically controlled weapon by mistake it leads to a nuclear war, then that could mean the end of not only human life but also all life on the planet. Then Amazon recruited a AI tool for recruitment, and it was found that with similar background and rejected most of the women, and then finally Amazon had to withdraw this tool. And Siri was system risk indication for the discriminatory welfare fraud detection, was a similar software implemented in Netherlands, which lacked transparency. And I think this is, I think skip this. Yeah, Google Photos, unfortunately, it labeled the black people as gorillas. Subsequently, they did withdraw this nomenclature of labeling anything as gorillas or chimp or monkey. And Chicago PD is a system that predictive policing in Chicago, a priori trying to examine whether a person is likely to commit a crime. And this caused a lot of harassment to the people. And finally, the system had to be withdrawn in 3 years back. All right. And we are also aware of the models like stable diffusion models, and which fake images and of the politicians and during the elections and so on. We have all seen that. And not only that, these tools are known to compromise on the issues of privacy, these issues of authenticity, and they are using the intellectual property for training, which they are not supposed to use. So I think I'll conclude with a quote from Stephen Hawking: "The greatest enemy of knowledge is not the ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge." So what is important is that it is okay if we don't know something, but AI sometimes tends to create an impression that we really know and we know it well. And we have all experienced that when we are searching on a chat GPT, we are doing some question answering or doing some question answering on Gemini or some other tool, then we feel sometimes so reluctant, all of us feel so reluctant to cross check, and we tend to believe that, okay, whatever it is telling must be the right thing. The pressure to accept as truth is so high in the age of AI. That is what is being the most dangerous thing. So I think that's all for now. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'll be happy to answer some questions.
Thank you so very much, Professor Kumar, for a very eye-opener presentation, truly a lucid presentation from yours, truly enlightening. You have shown us the other side of the coin. We have all been looking at one side of the coin, and a more holistic picture through your presentation we are able to see, and this explainable AI models now which are being there, and how the things are being run from behind, and how we can have a more clarity coming in. Your presentation has really inspired everyone to always keep on thinking about, and I must say this, the weaving of this entire presentation as a storytelling and the examples that you have given, I think, it's going to remain etched forever, and that will always, it was truly an inquisitive, presentation of yours, and which will certainly, has given us, ample opportunities to further look into that, how we as we think about implementing AI, but we should always try to look into many of the other hidden aspects, the vulnerabilities which also comes with the AI. That's very, very important that we need to pay, much attention, to all those aspects. And, the kind of development which has happened and how this is really helping out, how this is being done, and how we should remain also sensitive. And even the last closing line of yours, of that you have quoted, that it's not only the biggest enemy of the knowledge is not only the ignorance, but also, the illusion of knowledge. So we should, stay away in carrying that notion with us that whatever we are getting through the AI is a correct one. So we should always keep ourselves open enough. But I believe the technology definitely is trying to, create a kind of a more an equality, because once we think about, the biases which are being created, your presentation was full of examples of that. But as a user of the technologies, I think we need to remain highly sensitive about it and should not take it as a for granted technology. After all, we need to remind our own self that this is an artificial intelligence, and it cannot, the human intellect has to supersede, all this, and we need to exercise, our own intellect, to ensure that whatever the AI is generated, we should not simply take it as the very genuine and a correct one, because you have really shown us that what really happens behind the scene and how these algorithms are being run and how they just create a very false kind of information, so falsification which happens in out of this. Thank you so very much, Professor Kumar, for really enlightening us. You hold such a great experience on this, and it has truly been a great pleasure for Delnet to have you, and for each one of us to have listened to your such a visionary and the thoughts quite full of your own experience and also the great expertise that you hold. So thank you very much once again, Professor Kumar. With your permission, we would like to make the floor open for questions, and we are pretty sure that many of our colleagues would like to, who are being there online with us, they may like to ask you the question. So right now we are making the floor open for questions, requesting those who are being there. We have around more than 800 of our professional colleagues who are being there. We request you, please do kindly raise your digital hand, and we will really be delighted to give you an audio control. Otherwise, in order to save the time, you're most welcome. You can drop in your question on the chat box, and we will be really happy to take the questions from there. So I will quickly sift through firstly on the chat box, and we will just try to see the questions which are being there. I will just quickly would like to go through this, and then okay, so there is a question coming in, Professor Kumar, since you also being an academician. This question is from Nagaveni Mahadevia, who says, may I know, sir, that how truthful is our AI tools for reviewing the articles on which our young researchers are depending more? How truthful are AI tools for reviewing articles, for articles reviewing? And you have also shown it to us in your presentation, but you may like to, further deliberate on this. Over to you, Professor Kumar.
Well, ma'am, if we see the policies of the journals as on date, so most of the journals do not encourage, in fact, they discourage the use of AI tools for reviewing the articles, because these tools are still in experimental stage for this kind of analysis. And however, if it is just to polish the language, that should be reasonable, I think, because many times we do writing. So when we write an article, so I think it is okay if you want to get the language polished, but we can't leave more than that. I think we cannot leave on the tools. And occasionally, all of us have experienced, as I have also experienced, that AI tools do mess up while giving answers, and but they also correct if you tell them that very strongly that no, you are wrong. So many times they do the correction also. I think what is most important is while using AI tool, we must keep the margin, that it can be wrong, because when we start believing it is 100% right, that is the serious problem.
Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. Now we would just like to see to it, yeah, please, this is Mr. Anand Raj Tiwari who has raised his digital hand. This is for you, Anand. Please unmute yourself and introduce yourself before you ask your question. This is for Anand Tiwari. I have unmuted you from here, Anand. Mr. Anand Tiwari, I just request you, please unmute yourself and ask your question. I believe it seems, Anand, that mistakenly you had raised your digital hand. Requesting you, if you have any questions, please kindly just raise your digital hand so that we can give you and control. This is Dr. Madhigowda R. Dr. Madhigowda, I have unmuted you. Please unmute yourself. Dr. Madhigowda R, could you please unmute yourself? I have sent you an unmute request. Yes, we are connected.
I am Dr. Madhigowda.
Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. I am Dr. Madhigowda, librarian, Dhanansa College of Engineering, Bangalore, Karnataka. It was a very insightful information and very good session. I congratulate both the organizer and as well as speaker, eminent speaker. I am very selfish in this regard. Really, it's good. As we are connecting developing library network through, my direct question to the organizer as well as speaker. What is the use of AI tool in the library and library users? Could you please, can you explain how we can implement those technology to our library community?
I think, sir, that the AI tools libraries should make available to the users, because there has been reluctance on part of several universities, and my own organization actually, although they have opened up ChatGPT, but they are still to open the Gemini and some other tools. So I think we should liberally open the tools so that people can access from the university network as a first step. And then we should encourage them, and the universities can also encourage the students to do some courses on online courses on these AI systems. So basically like truth of AI systems, that is what I think as a library, you can organize a workshop, and there must be some serious users. Library can also buy some package, like from Coursera or edX, you can buy some for your community, because community needs to understand the limitations of these AI tools. So if you can buy one course and which can remain on your library network for all times to come, I do not know whether Delnet can do that. You can also examine that feasibility, so that can the people access via Delnet, if not through the individual library, so that the student, faculty, they all know what are the limitations, what are the strengths, and strengths they have understood, but they need to understand the limitations. So
thank you very much, Professor Kumar, and I would,
Ma'am, as a librarian, we need to spread the awareness. I was just reading an article last year, so it is 1 year, so information may be a little outdated. So from the Michigan, even at the Michigan University, the more than 50% of the researchers were unaware of how to use these tools productively. So if we can do the dissemination of information, that how these tools can be used productively, instead of creating a fear not to use, don't touch, because students are going to use the tools anyways. If we teach them how to use with care, that will be good for everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. And I would just further like to add, this is for you, Dr. Madhigowda. I would just like to mention that if you are already a member of Delnet, you must have noticed that on our discovery portal, we have created a very special link for AI tools and technologies for libraries and researchers and scholars. And that's quite a very huge directory of resources which are being there. It also gives a description. at the same time. And I think each one of us also has a greater responsibility to evaluate. As being said by a distinguished speaker, Professor Kumar, we need to also educate our users community about it. And Dept has already, we have already incorporated that particular, a module. Also, moreover, as being pointed out by Professor Kumar, we do have in our portal, we also have the online courses portal, in which a large number of the courses which are being run in AI, they are being incorporated, and we do have the young students. We have our upcoming conference, our NACLIN conference this year. The tutorial being chosen for the entire day. We have been holding the entire in the first day of our conference 2 tutorials, but this year we are holding only 1 tutorial. An entire tutorial is on AI tools and technologies, and we have a very distinguished speaker who has been onto the corporate training for AI tools, especially talking about the tools specific to the libraries and also for researchers and scholars. So I think, but collectively, cohesively, collaboratively, each one of us has to engage in those knowledge sharing. If someone has already deployed it, we need to have, more getting it, shared with others. But thank you very much. And definitely, you can see that in days to come, we will have more together to, contribute for this. Thank you very much indeed. We have Dr. Kumar Joshi. I would like to, Professor Kumar, 10 minutes more maximum.
No,
I could
I'm
see that.
so long as there are questions, I'm happy to answer.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, we can see that. Professor, this is from Dr. Kumar Joshi. Kumar, I just request you introduce yourself to our speaker and then ask the question. Yeah.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you are very much audible, Joy. Yeah, please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Kumar Joshi, and I'm currently working as a librarian in GSFC University. So my sir, it's a wonderful presentation and wonderful information and knowledge about the AI things and its ethicalness about the use of the ethical use of the particular AI tools. So my question is, sir, is there any kind of policy in our, in our India, there any kind of any policy, like we have a plagiarism policy for the similarities, but we don't have currently any policy for the AI resemble text in our research paper or anything, or research thing.
I'm not aware. You're right. I'm not aware also of any AI policy, and possibly because these tools have come up in a big way only during last 2 years, and
right.
over time, these tools will also mature, and their use will become officially acceptable. And as of now, that librarians, the faculty, the university administrations, everybody is suspicious as of now, and they write, don't use AI, don't for any thesis, don't use AI for paper. So under these circumstances, so a policy is very difficult to push. But I think it's just a question of perhaps at most 1 year or 2 years that these tools will have to be accepted. Every technology has to be accepted.
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Time and there's.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Joshi, and thank you very much, Professor Kumar. I could see that many hands being raised here, and that really shows the interest. I would go quickly to Dipankar Barua. Dipankar, could you please unmute yourself and introduce yourself? This is for you. Just a bit, because I could see that, the moment I'm trying to do, someone else also raising their hand. This is for you, Dipankar Barua. Dipankar, could you please quickly unmute? Yeah, we are connected. Dipankar, introduce yourself and ask the question quickly.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Am I audible, ma'am? Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah, yes. Very much, Dipankar. You are audible. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for this insightful presentation, because we are very much needed. So my question is, sir, is it advisable to train and create model for libraries, and what are the aspects to consider, and what are the ethical issues we have to consider for this?
Okay.
Like GPT models, Llama models, like that, sir.
Actually, it is probably not the librarian's job to train these models. It is the job of the data scientists, machine learning experts, AI engineers to train these models. And we are somewhere users of these models, isn't it? Like Llama, we are user of this model. And primarily, so the kind of applications that we have as users is that, like, is the piece of writing that I have conveyed, like, can I convey it better? So as librarians, I think that that is the kind of questions which are more relevant, and directly answerable by the technology as of now. But training the models is a more serious work. It takes thousands of hours of the GPUs. So I don't think we are into that business as of now. And there can be specific requirement, like legal system is there. So they want to uh, save a lot of judgments, and they want to arrive at some recommendations for some similar case. So they are not training their models. What they are doing is that text models have already been trained, so they are just regenerating the outputs in a specific context of the judiciary legal framework. So actually, as librarians, I think it's not our job primarily to produce content, isn't it? Primarily, we are not into the job of producing content, and that is where these tools are more useful. Our job as librarians is to manage content, and help
also
the
to
users
synthesize, spread
and
information
help our
accurately.
users and help our users in
Yeah.
where to seek knowledge, what knowledge to seek that will satisfy their requirements. And so to that extent, I think we need to provide them that, okay, what are the AI tools that they can use? That is the kind of information we need to provide them. We need to provide them where is the material to use these tools with discretion. What are the contents, courses which they should do? I think these kind of things should be available on the university network, Delnet network, and ONOS network, etc.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Kumar. I would just like to mention that even Delnet, we are now have decided that under our AI series, we will continuously keep on organizing, programs on AI series, which will be more focused on the tools, and these tools directly which can be implemented in the libraries for our day-to-day functions, or even for our researchers and scholars. So we are also onto it, and we really also would be grateful for your continued support for this. I would like to now move further, and would like to go to, this is for Vanuja Mahala. Vanuja Mahala, could you please unmute yourself? This is for you, Vanuja Mahala. You have, yes, we are connected. Please introduce yourself and ask a question, Vanuja.
Hello, ma'am. Hello, professor. My name is Vanuja, and I'll be soon studying data science and AI at the University of Beirut. I'm really interested in understanding the ethical and philosophical foundations of AI systems, especially how concepts like truth apply in practice. Uh, One question I have been reflecting on this is uh, who should be held responsible when AI system spreads false information or misleading information? Is it the developer who builds the system, the user who deployed it, or could some responsibility be attributed to the system itself, especially in the case of highly autonomous models?
Thank you so much. I think you have raised a very important question. And unfortunately, the legal systems are very, very weak as of now. When the Facebook created this mess up, that against the Rohingya population, and an environment was created that people started hating Rohingyas all over the world, not just in Burma, because they thought they are really doing bad things, because there was so much of pressure that was created by these tools, AI tools, and because all of us look at Facebook, and the Facebook messages were spread from Myanmar to other countries also, and there was really vilifying environment. But since there were algorithms that did that, isn't it? What was the algorithm doing? The algorithm was not designed to vilify Rohingyas. Had it been done, then the designer of the algorithm could have been punished. What the designer of algorithm has done, Facebook has given a task that to write an algorithm which will give the maximum possible user engagement. And you know that nuisance is more engaging than the saintly advice. Even during the Myanmar crisis, it is not that nobody spoke for the Rohingyas. There were voices, sane voices, even at that time. But the algorithms of Facebook realized that those voices are unlikely to be posted further. Therefore, they just suppressed those voices and they picked up the hate voices. So it was purely algorithm driven. Since it was algorithm driven and no one had specifically designed it against Rohingyas, so no action could be taken, even though Facebook did apologize.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you very much.
Professor Kumar, and thank you also for our colleague from Beirut. Yeah, thank you very much for asking, very highly pertinent question. Thank you so much indeed. We'll quickly move to Mr. Koti Reddy Aluga Beli. Mr. Koti Reddy, Dr. Koti Reddy Aluga Beli, could you please unmute yourself, introduce, and ask your question? Very quickly, we are holding our esteemed speaker for long now, and requesting our colleagues. Yeah. Professor Reddy, could you please? Otherwise, I'm compelled to mute you from here. And this is for Pavendra Singh. Pavendra, could you please unmute yourself? Mr. Pavendra Singh, could you please?
Yes,
we are connected.
yes, ma'am.
Pavendra, introduce
I am.
yourself and ask the question, please. Yeah,
I am audible. I am audible, ma'am.
Yeah, surely,
very much, Pavendra. Yeah. Please, kindly go ahead.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, sir. This is a very insightful session for me, actually. And in the AI area, human lose their value and ethics. So I would like to question here: how can we align AI with human values and ethics?
Okay, it's a
Please, sir.
philosophical question. First of all, I think I don't buy that the AI makes you lose ethics. It's I think an overstatement that AI doesn't make us lose ethics. And the trouble is, when we use a technology very, very much, then technology becomes part of it, And when we are driving, we don't think, and most of the driving is automatic. And somehow it is like reflex section. So similarly, like when we use a lot of AI, and then there is so much of pressure, that the like vehicle moves on automatically. We are talking to somebody, vehicle keeps on moving, So AI gives some information, and we are partly reading, we are partly not reading, but we are just passing it on the presumption that it must be right. So that is where the problem starts, that placing too much of confidence, even no software tool, no AI tool has said that we are always right. So all AI tools are telling that this is experimental. Please use with caution. They are always telling, but we are ignoring that line, and we are just taking it as for granted. I've seen that, I once I passed on something to ChatGPT to refine the language. I noted that the ChatGPT has changed my data. It was so surprising that how can they do it? And they write sometimes they write so convincingly that they are working out an example, and during the example you note that the data is changed, the results which they have got that they are trying to explain, those results are there because the data has been changed during the explanation. So all these things do happen. So one needs to be very careful. And any explanation which these tools give, it has to be correlated. Because in the old Google days, what we used to do, we would not settle on one answer. We will just open for first 5, 6, 7 on more serious people will open 10 links, and then they would aggregate the information from various links and then take the call what to do. Now what is happening is we have taken it for granted that AI will open the necessary links, AI will do the aggregation, and AI will give the correct information, which is putting too much of trust. Right? Maybe 5 years down the line, it will become like that. 2 years down the line, AI systems may become like that, but not now.
Thank you so very much, Professor Kumar, for such a convincing reply to it. Would like to go to Mr. Rajasurya R. Mr. Rajasurya R, we are connected right now. Please introduce
Am I
yourself
audible,
and
ma'am?
quickly ask the question. Yeah, you're
Am I
audible
audible,
very
ma'am?
much. Yeah, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're audible very much, yes.
Sir, I found the session very insightful and it was very interesting one, sir. But I have a question about will AI will replace the humans? But we have recently got some news. Over 6,000 plus employees have been uh, eliminated from the most biggest IT sectors due to this AI's growth. So then, what will be they will do for the survey, sir? If yes, means.
Okay. Very important question. And, ever since the wheel was invented, with every invention, we have discussed the issue of employability. And the issue is not irrelevant. Issue is relevant. But when the industrial growth started, somehow the technology could do so much of production that it could get the jobs here and there. We could put a lot of people in marketing. We could put a lot of people in the service sector. Then computer revolution came. Then we could put a lot of people into the service industry, and computer engineering courses became the most popular courses, and enrollment diminished in the other traditional courses, and like these things kept on moving. But now the AI has come at a much faster pace. It is also true. And so the questions are valid, and there are no immediate answers that, most important answers, like as common people, although we may suffer the loss of employment, but the question is probably as relevant for the industry, because using the best of AI technology, if a car is produced, right, and a car is produced with 5% of the staff, then 95% of the staff have to go out. Now, if the similar measure is applied in many, many industries, then from where are we going to get the money to buy a car? Right? If my publisher is publishing everything with AI, right, and they can remove their proofreaders, they can remove their technical staff, they can remove their DTP staff, but then if I don't have the money to buy a book as a reader, then what the publisher will do, publishing a better book, better quality book, cheaper book. So these questions are valid questions, and obviously I do not have an answer for all these questions. So I'm as much concerned as you are, and I'm sure that human wisdom has been able to find solutions in the past, although past performance is no guarantee of future, as they tell in stock market. So we have only to wait and still continue to trust human wisdom.
So wait and watch, Professor Kumar. Thank you very much for this very, very, again, an inspiring reply from your side. Would go, and it seems to me that this may be the last question that we would be able to take, because there are no other digital hands that I'm able to see right now. And this is Dr. Vignesh Essen from IMM Vizag. If I can place you correctly, Vignesh. May like to request you, please kindly do introduce yourself to our other distinguished, colleagues who are being there connected, and requesting you to kindly ask a question to our speaker. Please, over to you.
Good evening to all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you are very much
very
audible.
much. Yeah.
Good evening to all, and I thank the organizers and the speakers for this wonderful session. My question is, when coming to the library e-resources, there is a policy for the e-resources usage saying that copyright violation when using any softwares or robotic tools to download articles which is connected to the e-contents. In this case, when researchers deploy AI into the search engines and fetches the result, how does this can be evaluated, and how it is whether it violates the AI, I mean copyright issue?
See, the copyright issue is a different matter, because copyright, you see, if we do a search on ChatGPT, and if we copy blindly, right, and we do not know which source it is coming from, what it is coming, then obviously it is copyright violation. But whenever we write a research paper, we always quote from the other researches, isn't it? And no one has been booked for copyright violation for doing that, because we take some quotation from somewhere, we give the credit to the author, and then we comment positively or negatively or whatever we want to say on that work. So there is no copyright violation in that. So obviously, if we are doing blind copying, then there is a copyright violation. That violation was there even before the AI came, isn't it? And some people have done that even before that, and journals have been very, very stringent on that. Now with AI, you are right, it has become easier to do that, because things have become more accessible, but things have remained more accessible even since last 10-15 years, or 2000, around the year 2000, when Google became so popular. So they brought in a lot of material online. So I would not really like to link it much to the AI, because the AI is only providing us summarizations, like if I use the summarization, and I don't just whatever I get from ChatGPT, I do summarization, I apply another tool, and then whatever is copied remains copied, isn't it? That doesn't become uncopied by change. Even if I polish the language again, that main content is original and belongs to someone else. That main content cannot become mine. So, and AI is not trying to answer those questions for sure. So our job is that, see, ethics is our personal thing, right? So we need to exercise our the ethics. We need to have a positive outlook towards the academic ethics. So AI is not a substitute for human ethics. So
thank you very much, Professor Kumar. It looks to me.
I don't know. Yeah, have I answered the question?
Thanks, Dr. Vignesh. Dr. Vignesh, thank you so very much for asking. And Professor Kumar, what it looks to me, because I can see that our chat box is entirely flooded with the questions. It looks to me that we may like to have an interview with you later, maybe perhaps we will send it across to you, because there'll be a digest of questions.
Yeah, you can share the question.
Because this will be, yes, there are questions, because I can see that, it's all the entire chat box, and I'm also wondering which one to take. And I know that it's more than 1.5 hours that we have taken of yours, but what really inspires me is that we may like to pose these questions, and this is for all my colleagues who are being there online on this platform, that we may like to ask these questions to Professor Naveen Kumarji in the form of an interview post this webinar session. We'll create a digest of all, because I could see not many of questions which really holds a great relevance for anyone and everyone who is being concerned with AI, wants to implement them, also the ethical use of it, and many of the things about the policy decisions and frameworks, to be in place, and more to do also with the tools and technologies, everyone concerning, what are the tools being there. I believe that I sincerely regret that it doesn't look like that we can engage Professor Kumar, for more than this, because this may, but we can see that this has truly inspired everyone. This has been truly one of the most empowering discussions that we had on AI. And I can also strongly feel that this has really set Professor Naveen Kumarji, our distinguished speaker of the session on the of today's session. So you have rightly and in a very apt manner have set the tone for further deliberations on this, to work collectively, on certain of the aspects that are being highlighted also during your presentation, also concerns. And one message is very loud and clear, that we have to keep on engaging ourselves in discussions like this, and to see to it that what are the common areas in which we can collaborate, can work together, and also more to sensitize our users community. And especially when we think about the libraries and librarians and library professionals, our major purpose remains to provide the most accurate accurate, information to the user, sensitizing them, keeping them informed, stay informed, and it's very important that we play that role. So I believe that today we have made the new openings, though we are towards a conclusion of this webinar session. But yes, Professor Naveen Kumarji, through his such a wonderful, empowering and enlightening presentation today, has made it possible for us. And it was truly an invigorating one. Everyone, each one of us have really, many takeaways from the session. And I think we really need to work together to see to it that we keep ourselves engaged in this continuous discussions, and at the same time, keep on doing, on the ground, some constructive work, also to be done. Professor Naveen Kumarji, we can never be able to thank you enough for such a stupendous support of yours in being there. It has truly been a pleasure. And on behalf of Delnet, on behalf of each one of us who are being here, a memento as a token of a very warm, sincere gratitude to you. We remain ever grateful for delivering. And I really look forward to meeting you in person at Delnet. It would be a pleasure, to really have you here, and also to think about having some of the in-person programs and workshops. And we can see that many takeaways from this. And I assure you from the organizer, from Delnet, that we will sincerely be, collating all these thoughts together, and we'll try our best to see to it how we can in a position to implement and to initiate some of the new activities just centered around the AI. It has been a true pleasure. Once again, Professor Naveen Kumarji, on behalf of Delnet, on behalf of each one of us, with your permission, we would like to have this
I'm grateful for giving me this opportunity. It's really, I'm so happy. And I'll be grateful if you could share the questions, because that would help me to make my presentation from some other place.
Positively, would be very happy. And this would be the voice of the librarians, the voices and the concerns, the library fraternity, also from researchers and scholars, because we had a large numbers of them who have been there today. And we really would like to, have your warm support, very gracious support, because we would like to really see to it that we have the AI series, a series of webinars and very knowledge enhancing sessions, to keep on doing it, all just being focused on AI tools and technologies, and keeping everyone, informed, and having everyone along also at the same time. Thank you very much, Professor Kumar, once again, on behalf of Delnet and each one of us. And thank you so very much to all our to the fellow colleagues, who have been able to join from India and many other countries. Your presence today has truly been valued. Your very active participation, engaging participation has greatly been valued, and it has truly inspired us to think about, having some new strategies for working together in implementing, the AI tools, in having very concerted efforts, we are going to bring in to see to it that we further, move ahead. Thank you so very much. And this is just quickly to mention that by tomorrow afternoon, the entire presentation, with the permission of the distinguished speaker, the entire recording of the session will be available on the Delnet's YouTube channel called WebView. We request you to do subscribe, so that as and when we upload any of the content, that gets notified to you. So you can view and can further get enlightened. Try to spread across also, inform others who have not been able to join, your own colleagues and friends and others. Everyone is just wanting to ensure that we remain in that knowledge sharing mode. Thank you so very much. Within 1 hour, not within 1 hour, it would be sharp at 5 o'clock. You will be receiving a digital certificate of participation on your registered email IDs. We really look forward to having you back again. Thank you so very much. Truly feeling so very enlightened and very delighted that we have been able to have this session today. Thank you very much, Professor Kumar. I look forward to welcoming you, to receiving you here at Delnet, and it would really be a pleasure to see you here. Thank you. Thank you very much for the enormous support.
And thank you to the all audience.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Kumar. Thank you so very much, each one of you. It was truly a pleasure having you. God bless you all. Stay happy, stay informed, stay blessed, and do keep on, attending to the daily webinars and actively participating in it. It really has always been appreciated, and we really look forward to having. I would also like to express my sincere thanks to my own colleague, Mr. Kushal Giri Goswami, who has been coordinating our webinars, and also to Mrs. Ranjana. Thank you very much, one and all. God bless you, and we look forward to having you back again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.